What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How you doing? Good evening. It is Maisha Edmond, licensed cosmetologist in the state of New York. Also, a certified trichologist. What is going on? It's been a whole minute or three, right? It is February 6th, 2025. I don't even know if I've been live, if I've gone live yet for trichology. So I'm doing something here. I am going to, hey Jay, I'm going to have a conversation about Black history, Black hair, Black trichologists. That's my whole judge, right? Because there's such a I guess like a mystique about Black hair, and like the history of our hair, how we take care of it, and being a Black trichologist. I want to kind of tie it in, um at least for this month, and then try to keep it going. So I'm going to be talking about some myths. Hey now. Yes, I want to talk about some myths that that we hold as like Bible, for hair loss and hair growth in the Black community. And then I also want to talk about trichology, because there are people that literally have just discovered trichologists maybe weeks ago. There are some people that, they believe, okay, this is what a trichologist is, this is what it isn't. It's so vast. There are so many different types of trichologists. And so I just want to have the conversation. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is talking to two different audiences. And so if you could share this with your people. Oh wait, I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, and I'm on Trichology 911 on Instagram, right? So if you could share this and just kind of let people know to chime in on the conversation, that would be so cool, because I'm going to go into some myths that we have heard and that we believe as trichologists as well. So this, I feel like, can be a really good discussion. If not a discussion, then it'll be my dissertation. But whatever it is, I cannot wait to dive in. So I'm talking to two audiences. I'm talking to, first, clients, and I'm talking to professionals. I'm going to attempt to do those at the same time, only because I don't want to do this live twice. Okay. So the first thing, and then I'm going to talk about some myths that I've heard. So the first thing is, let me address the pros first. How we approach hair loss issues, right? Um, well, no, what? Let me go to the clients. Clients, right? They don't feel seen, right? Hair loss, like by the time a hair loss client or a customer or whatever you have it gets to you in your trichology office, like, if you listen to their stories, which I've heard like over and over again several times, is that they do not feel seen. They do not feel seen, right? They are told it is supposed to happen. Hair loss is supposed to happen. It's inevitable. You are a Black woman, and um, that's what happens. And that finally, your hair can't or won't grow. Now, if you are a professional, and you've heard your clients say that, put a one in the chat. If you are a person that is not a pro, and you have um had any encounter with hair loss, put a two in the chat. If you've felt like you were not seen, right? Like it's supposed to happen, right? Or that your hair can't and won't grow, right? So that's some of the things that we hear as a trichologist, that they don't feel seen. I had a woman to come in, and she was like on the verge of tears, because she said she waited so long to see her a dermatologist, and when she got there, she said she didn't feel seen, because when she actually got in the office um to discuss her hair loss, that the doctor pretty much was like, okay, like, it's hair loss, it's supposed to happen. And like the way your hair is, like it wouldn't grow anyway. You can get these shots, you can get this minoxidil, but I don't see you. It's pretty much. So, a lot of clients are feeling unseen as it relates to hair maladies, hair and scalp maladies, right? On the pro side, we as trichologists and healthy hair care stylists, what we're looking at is how do we approach hair loss issues? Because if you get somebody that's been to what they consider everybody, and they've been to a whole bunch of hair specialists, right? And they've been to the dermatologist, and maybe and this is Black history, right? So maybe they didn't feel comfortable seeing someone who was not Black. And then when you found a Black dermatologist, you could hardly even get in because the waiting time was so long, the waiting list was so long. And as we know as trichologists, we know that time is follicles, right? So the longer you wait and the longer you continue to do the thing that you think you should do because you're not educated about your type of hair loss, then the more severe it is, and the harder it is to maybe bounce back, depending on what it is. So number one, that double-sided conversation is a client coming in and not feeling seen, being told or made to feel like hair loss or whatever it is was supposed to happen, and that your hair is not going to grow, it can't grow, and it won't grow anyway. So, oh well. So now as a trichologist, it's like, okay, how are we approaching hair loss? The next thing that I hear a person say when they come to me as a trichologist is, I've tried everything. Anybody ever heard that? I have tried everything. There are more than, I can count more than 10 women that I have seen that said, I've tried everything. I have these pills, I have these supplements, I have these shampoos, I have these drops, I have these conditioners, I have this device, I have all the things at my home, I have these wraps, I have these caps, I have all of these things, and nothing's working. And you, as a trichologist, you're looking at them like, okay, but you haven't tried everything. But as far as they're concerned and the frustration, they have tried everything, right? So if that is the complaint or the concern of somebody that is experiencing hair loss, right? Then on the pro side, we have to look at how we approach treatment. How are you approaching treatment? I remember a lady calling me, and I'm in Long Island. She called me from Connecticut, and she was saying, like, I really want to come to you. Um, I'm a little leery of trichologists right now, but I really want to come. I want to do, try someone else, because when I went into the trichologist office, they were trying to shove products down my throat. They wouldn't listen to me. It was like they didn't hear me, and they just wanted me to buy their system. I know that all too well, because when I was like really discovering trichology, and this was, when people were like, oh yeah, it's going to take you this amount of time, and it's just like so hard, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like begging, like, okay, what school did you go to? Like, what did you do? Like, like, how can I, become educated so I can help? And I remember going to this class, and they literally gave like the surface of like, okay, these are follicles, these are cuticles, this is the dermal layer, blah, blah, blah. And then after a little bit of, this is trichology, write your name on this list and we'll call you when we start a program. It was product knowledge, product knowledge, product knowledge. Give them this. Don't do this. If they have a heart issue, do this. Hey, Lisa Terry. So I remember being taught, I remember being instructed to almost force products down the client's throat. And because that was my only example of hair loss solution, I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to learn these products. Thank God I was able to, find another way. But when you have clients that come and say, I have tried everything. I've tried everything. I have done it all. I have every pill. Like I said, I have every pill, every drop, every shampoo, every conditioner, every device. I sleep like this. I do this. I do that. I'm supplements. I'm vitamins. What do I do? It really calls into question how you are going to approach treatment. How you going to help? What are you going to do that's different? And you know that there's something different, but that goes back to my first point, which is if the client comes in to you after going to maybe however many other hair loss professionals and they say, or you can gather that they feel unseen, that they are made to believe that the hair loss is supposed to happen and that their hair can't and won't grow, how do you approach their hair loss issues? Because you could be like, well, I mean, I know you feel like you tried everything, but you ain't tried me yet. But I feel like it doesn't validate what they're going through. So then they say, well, I've tried everything. I have all the blah, 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 blah. So now you have to look at, okay, so that when I say looking at how we approach treatment, how's the protocol going to look? How are you going to build something just for that client? And that goes into the next thing that I was going to talk about is when the client comes in and they say, well, what I have runs in my family. What I have is hereditary. What I have is just, I remember when I first started really digging deep into trichology, I discovered something and I coined a term called traditional hair loss. So, you have like genetic, you have like that genetic thing. But what if your client has traditional hair loss, meaning this, all the Johnson girls is in one room and they all got like this crazy, like the edges is missing, the back is missing, the side is missing. And it's not necessarily that, it's hormonal or traction. But when you look at what wash day looks like and what maintenance and hair care looks like, they all have like tight buns. They all have like tight bantu knots or braids, or they do certain things because great grandma showed grandma and grandma showed mommy and mommy showed me and I'm doing it to my daughter. And so we all our hair is pulled out the same way. Doesn't make it that it runs in the family like, oh, it's a blood thing or it's a genetic thing, but it's tradition passed down. So when a client comes to you, or if you're a client and you say, I really feel like what I have runs in my family, when you go to see a trichologist, then you're looking for a trichologist that is going to do what? Customize a plan for you. Why? Because not all hair loss is created equally. Which means what? I can be in the house with two other women. I can be in the house with me and my two daughters. We could all have hair loss. We could all have dandruff, and it could all be different. One could have seborrheic dermatitis, right? One could just have dry scalp, right? You could have one like, oh, we're all thinning, we're all shedding, but maybe mommy has CCCA and one sister is deficient in vitamins, and then the other sister just had a baby and she's going on 6 months, so her shedding or her telogen effluvium is what you call chronic CTE, right? Chronic telogen effluvium, or excessive shedding that's happened for like upwards of, almost going into a year. So going back to those things, we're talking to two audiences, because what I want you to do is really look at how you're approaching clients. If they are not feeling like they're seen, if they're feeling like it's, oh, I'm made to feel like it's supposed to happen, I'm made to feel like I'm just not supposed to have no hair and my hair does not grow, and this is what it is, then you have to look at, okay, so how, when I get an opportunity to help this client, how do I approach the hair loss issue? What am I doing? What am I doing differently? If the client says, well, I tried everything, now you have to look at how you're going to approach treatment. Because one thing to look at how you are approaching hair loss issues, how you look at it. Okay, so I teach a class called Plan to Succeed, right? And I always talk about this thing that I created, the 80-20 rule, as it relates to trichology. Not that I created the 80-20 rule, but how I interpret it, right? And I always feel like clients and trichologists are 80-20 in their own favor. If I'm a client, I want 80 what I want. And if I'm a trichologist, then I want 80 of what I want. For example, if you are helping a client that has traction alopecia and CCCA, because we understand that there's literally no one that you see that will have hair loss and have one type of hair loss, right? So we know that, right? We've been knowing this for years, right? Because we understand that if my edges are gone, I'm probably not only, but if I have CCCA, I'm trying to cover it up. And now I have traction alopecia because I'm trying to brush that up and make sure nobody sees this. Now I'm stressed out and I may experience telogen effluvium or shedding, or the stress could be so much that it's alopecia areata, right? Just so many different things, right? So, what was I saying? So, if the client is like, we're looking at, okay, tag, I literally, somebody write in the chat, because all these ideas just came to my head. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, how we approach issues as opposed to how we look at a treatment plan, right? So if the client comes in and they have thank you, and they have they have hair loss, right? And it's like, okay, I have several issues. I was talking about the 80-20 rule. Yes. So if it's 80-20, what happens is the client comes in and they say, I have hair loss, whatever. You're looking at the fact that they have traction alopecia and CCCA, right? But I understand as a trichologist that CCCA, or central cicatricial alopecia, centrifugal cicatricial alopecia, CCCA, is inflammatory. So what do I want to do? I want to address the inflammation, but that's 80 to me. In order to gain the client's trust, I'm going to have to work on CCCA, but I'm going to have to cater to traction alopecia, because the client is 80% what they see, and trichologists are 80% what we know, which means that the client want to see some hair growing. And we like, if we get this inflammation down, we could probably knock out a whole bunch of things. But it ends up being kind of, so when a client says, okay, so I don't feel seen, I feel like, oh, hair loss is supposed to happen because I'm Black. or I feel like my hair won't grow and it can't grow, and they told me my hair won't grow, then how you as a trichologist are going to help somebody that has hair loss, to you, how you're going to approach that issue is with, you know, what's 80 for you, you know what's important for you, but you know what's important for that client. They want to see hair growing, but you know that they also have an inflammatory issue. So then what does that look like? Yeah, central, centrifugal, cicatricial alopecia. Child, I was tongue-tied. But what does that look like for you? So I'm looking at gut health. I'm looking at anti-inflammatory diet. I'm looking at all those things, but I'm also looking at things that are going to affect or help to reverse the effects of traction alopecia, right? Because I can't just say, well, when they see this, it's going to be fine. No. How do you help the client? How do you help them to get what they want while giving them what they need? Right? And I feel like when I'm talking about Black history, Black hair, and Black trichologists, we're looking at the fact that there a lot of times we are going to really be like, you know, really there's this dance, right? I talk about it all the time with products, right? Products are not necessarily, the mainstream products are not necessarily made for us. If you look at the hierarchy, if there has to be a hierarchy of hair loss and hair growth and all those things, it's white men, white women, Black men, and then Black women. But Black women are buying all the products, doing all the things, going all the places so that their hair can grow, because we want to do it, you know, we want to do it natural, and we want to do it, you know, and have a system, and we want to do all those things, right? So then, you know, you let us loose in the Walmart and the beauty supply store and on the internet, and we're buying all the things. Next, you know, we got like monostat on our scalps. Stop it. Stop. We in there, the pregnant women can't even, you know what I'm saying, get the baby no nutrients because we done bought up all of the prenatal vitamins. We got all the prenatal vitamins because we were told that the prenatal vitamins grow our hair, and that's not true. Right? We got all the people with the yeast infection can't get no relief because we out here with monostat 7 on our scalps. I know it's right. So then that's where we come in as trichologists, right? So you'll say, okay, well, I'm not a trichologist. I'm somebody that's, you know, like I'm experiencing hair loss, right? So then you're left to your own devices, right? Find you a trichologist that know what they're doing. Now, this is the funny thing, right? I have met people who said, well, I went to a trichologist, Maisha. I went to a trichologist, Lisa Terry. Jay, I went to a trichologist, and they didn't have these tools. They didn't say nothing about this. They didn't say nothing about that. The one of the most empowering things about being a trichologist is that you get a chance to shape how people view trichologists and trichology. And then one of the most devastating things is that you get to shape how people see trichologists and trichology. Now, why is it both? It's both because if I'm undereducated, then I'ma just be telling people to put monostat 7 on their head. And I'm going to, I remember when I first started, and I say it all the time. I remember when I first started doing trichology, and you would come into my suite, and I had a small blender and a refrigerator, and I had almond milk, eggs, avocado, bananas, and essential oil, because you was going to get this custom mask on your head. Now, and this is the thing, and I understand a whole fruit basket blend smoothie, because my whole thing was I'm holistic, and if you should be able to eat this and put it on your head but I didn't understand balance. I didn't understand what it looked like if stuff would be rancid. I didn't keep the stuff, but I didn't understand, like, hey, wash all that out. They got yeast and all kind of other things going on top of the scalp, and you out here just got a whole everything. Lisa Terry said, and the aloe leaf. Yes, all of it. But I didn't understand. So imagine, and I was talking to my friends about this. As an educated trichologist, you cannot be upset if there are undereducated or misinformed trichologists talking like what I said. Oh, I'm gonna put this orange on your head, and I'm gonna put this aloe leaf on top, and then I'm gonna sit you under the dryer with an egg and some all of that food grade products on the head without any rhyme or reason outside of it sound good, right? Is big. So anyway, let's get into some myths. So one of the things that I kind of touched on was this. One of the myths I have heard is that Black people's hair does not grow. Absolutely false. We know this. The problem is a lot of times Black women, and it not just us, but today, is that our breakage is almost the same speed, if not faster, than our growth, because we don't understand moisture and hydration, right? Or what is moisture and what is hydration. We will throw an oil and have that oil on our hair, and hair just is dry, breaking, brittle, right? Because we don't understand what is hydration. We don't understand what is moisture or what is oil, and what is needed, right? So we need that balance. We need that balance. How about and put the myths that you heard in the chat. How about dirt makes your hair grow? That's in my book, Top 10 Best Ways to Lose Your Hair. Get it on Amazon. Digital. But dirt makes your hair grow. Very good. So what about folliculitis? What about even the smell? There's so many different things. And I believe this. Look, if you leave anything alone, you just gonna leave it and it just be left. And so if it grow, or whatever like that. But come on. It's a lot. Lisa Terry said wearing protective styles for long periods of time is a myth. Absolutely. Because there is a point in time when your protective style goes from protection to destruction. Ask me how I know. I had a client that kept her crochets in so long, and then when she took it out, the hair was like locked, matted. And there she left conditioner on it and all kind of stuff, and literally had to come and get her hair cut. Because she was like, well, I'm getting it, I'm letting it grow. It's protection. There's a time you got to take that stuff down. Because why? You losing 80 to 100 hairs a day. Hair is shedding, right? And now it's locking. It has nowhere to fall. So you have to be careful. You see, not combing your hair every day makes your hair grow. Oh, wow. Right. I heard that too. Then you out here with one piece of hair. You just got one. You got one free form, and you weren't going for that. Okay. Jay said the rice water. And this is my thing, right? Because I know some people will fight me down to the daggone gristle about this rice water. But all it does is like it forms a cast on the hair, right? But this is my thing, and hear me out, right? Don't stone me. Just hear me out, right? I've been doing trichology for a good minute, right? I understand that your hair grows from the inside out. If you agree that your hair grows from the inside out, somebody just go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. Just put a 1 in the chat, just so I know I'm not talking to myself. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you know that the hair grows from the inside out, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if hair grows from the inside out, why would you put the rice water on the outside? This is why I'm asking you. This is why I'm asking you. Everybody just hold on. Because I've been eating rice all my life. And I know some folks that eat rice probably even 2 times a day because they love rice like that. They got a rice loving family. When I tell you they got a whisper of hair, exactly. So Lisa Terry said it would make sense, more sense to drink it if it was true. And I get it. Look, we love a good, you know what I'm saying? You go to the dollar store and they selling 100% jojoba oil, right? Or 100% aloe or something with a coconut. All they got to do for us is put a drop of oil with some light shining through it on a bottle. And we like, oh, you know what I'm saying? All they got to do is make something tingle and smell like peppermint. And we like, oh yeah, that worked. That's it. It worked. No. Listen, Jay said, she be eating rice too, child. Child. She said that back and stomach growing. So think about it. Think about it. When we think about those myths. What's another myth? I got another one. Prenatal vitamins make your hair grow. Like I said, they can't even, the pregnant women can't even get no nutrients for the poor baby that they trying to grow and cook on the inside, because we done bought up all the daggone prenatal vitamins. Your hair does not grow because of the prenatal vitamins. Your hair grows because the growth cycle in the hair is paused because of what's going on inside. Not because you taking these prenatal vitamins, because that ain't true. Okay? Let me see. Lisa Terry said, I'm sick of it. These herbal blends on the scalp, but nobody ain't eating vegetables. Come on, preach. Come on. So as a trichologist, right? And so I'm talking to 2 audiences, right? As a trichologist, it is our job not to grow hair back. So take that weight off your shoulders. As a trichologist, it is our job to fortify and support whatever the client is doing on the inside. What if the client don't know what to do on the inside? I'm glad you asked. So when they come for a full consultation, right? What you're going to do is you see what blood type they are. You see like all the different things, like where they are deficient, what's the lifestyle, all those different things you take into consideration. Once you do that, you give the client a breakdown and recommendation of what should be done based on the deficiencies that you have detected. If that client can take that home, they can literally start to formulate like a new lifestyle, a regimen of how they're going to eat. So when they come into you, the treatments are going to work that much more because they're doing what they need to do internally on their own. And when they come into you, you are just supporting what they are doing. I don't want a trichologist to feel like, oh, I'm doing it and it's not working, and then and no, you're needed. Oh, it's not working, I'm not able to do it, and I'm not able to grow hair. It's not your job to grow hair. Hair gonna grow because it's a partnership between you and the client, right? If the client is highly stressed and you're able to give them a relaxing environment and to just kind of like fortify, like, listen, you got to do this, you got to. Now it's easier said than done to be like, oh, you need to relax. I'm not talking about that, but really giving them stress relieving techniques and really just using your network, whether it's therapists and exercise and all the different things. You do all of that, right? But when they come in, then you're able, like when you're doing other treatments, when you got them under the LLT and you're doing scalp massage and you're doing all those things, it is just an enhancement. Right, right. So Jay said hair won't grow where blood don't flow. I like it. Preach. Right? So you think about that. Hair grows from the inside out. I mean, I'm going to be coming back and forth talking about this stuff for the rest of the month. But like one of the things I can't wait to get into is drug-induced alopecia, or the DIA is what I call it. We on so many, I mean, if you're not on a medication from the doctor, we have, pilled and supplemented ourselves all to smithereens, and the stuff don't even be right. It ain't even what we need. We grabbing hair, skin, and nail vitamins off the shelves, and it doesn't even have enough of percentage of what we need for ourselves. So if you say, oh, well, it say here it got iron in it, it say here it got biotin in it, it say here that it got a little vitamin C in it, it say it here it got a little D in it, but you don't even know your levels. So you just taking it for like general, and you might need a little more iron. You might need a little more, you know what I'm saying? You know exactly. You're not absorbing. You taking daggone iron pills to the head, ain't had not a lick of vitamin C, orange juice, or nothing to help absorb it. Your gut is cluttered. You ain't cleaned out nothing. Lisa Terry said biotin. Absolutely. Biotin is a scaffolding. It does not grow hair. It supports hair growth. But if you're not doing anything to grow the hair, what do you got? What do you have biotin for? And I'm telling you, they put biotin in the spray, in the shampoo, in the lotion, in the conditioner. It's biotin and all that other stuff. Now, listen, how long they've been selling biotin? And people still got a whisper of hair. So all week, all month, you know what I'm saying? We chatting. We talking about Black hair, Black history, Black trichologists. Because how are we going to help the people that come to us? Do you understand the demographic that you serve? You may not only serve Black women, but right now, this is what we're talking about. Because remember what I told you about the hierarchy of hair loss and how it looks in mainstream. White men, white women, Black men, Black women. But we happen to be I feel like some of the greatest consumers, especially of products as a Black woman, because we are always self-medicating, self-diagnosing, and just like, trying to help ourselves without going out too far, because we have to take care of so many other things. So when we say, oh, well, I tried everything, that's all we know. So we need to, as trichologists, be accessible and to really step up. We got to step up and like give the proper knowledge, become more visible, right? It is heartbreaking to be, doing a consultation and have someone break down crying because they went into the doctor's office and the doctor just said, well, you was going to lose your hair anyway, and there's nothing we could do. So, I mean, if you want this minoxidil, if you want me to give you some shots in your scalp, then there you go. And that's it. But there is more to it than that. There's more to it, right? So here's the plan. Here's a call to action. This is what I want you to do. If you are a hair loss professional, you are a trichologist, right? And you really want to help clients and clients that are coming to you, I want you to look at how you approach hair loss issues. Remember, clients are 80/20 just like you. They want to see hair grow. You're trying to take care of what's underneath. Figure out a way to do both so that the client can be happy. It relieves stress. They see results, and then you know that what you're doing on the back end is doing what it needs to do. Right? If you get a client that says, I've tried everything, I need you over the course of a few days and this week, I want you to look at how you are approaching treatment, because hair loss is not what? Cookie cutter. How do you approach treatment? What are you going to do? Does everybody get the same thing? Are you throwing milk on their head? Like, what are you doing? I need you to do that. And then I want you to, the client that says, well, it just runs in my family. I got hair loss in my family. I want you to look at your hair restoration plans and really look at what you can do to have a structure so that you can customize and do it in less than 7 days. Why is taking you so long to get these plans together? Right? What are you going to do? How do you show up for the client so that they're able to get it going? Remember, time is follicles. Hair loss is not cookie cutter. The solution is not going to be cookie cutter. Right? Black people's hair does grow. Dirt does not make your hair grow. Keep that rice water off your head. It's rancid anyway. It stink. You boiling all the rice, not eating the rice, throwing it out. Now you done put this rice water in a spray bottle, and you wondering why you got all kind of fungus and hard casts on your hair and stuff, because nobody's telling, we're not sharing the information, right? Prenatal pills do not make your hair grow. Stop stealing from the unborn babies. Amen. All right, so that was it. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be back because I cannot wait to talk about drug-induced alopecia, amongst other things. Okay, so yeah, like if you're ready to have the conversation, maybe next time you want to jump on, it would be awesome. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great evening. Happy hair growing.